My name is Kuypers. I've just recently moved from Chicago.
Yeah.
And job change for and I've written for years and I ran a poetry open mic in Chicago, and they told me to come here, so I thought I'd read a couple pieces from my first book I ever wrote, and that's Hope Chest in the Attic. I have like 5 copies left before I have my proof copy for the second printing for the book. So if anybody wants a book, just give me an offer. I can get rid of it. Maybe this one will go to press. I just picked these out for you guys. This is from the book, and it is called The Cycle. And it came to her like this. She remembers when she was a child, coloring eggs for Easter, wired spoons dipped into the cups, colors of spring and happiness, left to dry on the newspaper. And she would always steal away some to eat before Sunday, and she would hide the pastel shells in the trash as evidence. But then she'd always also hide the yolks, too. She only liked the white part of it. And then she remembered the onion skins. Boiling eggs wrapped in layers of skin, dyed them beautiful shades of brown, like the amber beads from Mother's jewelry chest hold, like valentines of variations of color, trapped by nature, captured by ourselves. And she remembers as a child listening to the McKinleys, an older pair with stories of Panama, Mexico, and they had so many foreign stories to tell. They once gave her an egg that was for Christmas, a carnival egg, which had the inside blown out, with confetti covered in colorful crepe paper. She made them for herself in Little English and cracking them over people's heads. She saved theirs, though. And now she stands at the kitchen table, scrambling them for morning meal, yellow and white, the colors of the nursery for the child still inside of her. She can feel the kicking now, and she wants to know if she can give the colors, the stories, bring the cycle of life around for the little one there, that little one inside of her. And she puts breakfast once again on the plate. These are all last-minute choices I'm doing this one. This one is called Wedding Lost. And she sees herself in the passenger seat at night, her fiancé beside her, and the lights seem all too bright, and the rain seems all too loud, like the thunder of soldiers running across a field toward war, swept up in the drunken feeling of patriotism, charging toward their unknown enemy. And so it happened that night. The lights got brighter, the car started to spin, and then she started to dream. And she sees herself at the end of the church. The bridesmaids have just walked down the aisle, and the music changes for her. She feels swept up with euphoria of love, and she begins to walk, but she falls, the bouquet falling from her hands. And in slow motion, white roses and lilies scatter along the aisle. And she looks up, and the groom is gone, and the ground is the ashes of the house that they bought together after they were married. She sits up, and she is at the desk at the bank trying to get the loan for the house. His job is secure. We're young. Nothing could go wrong. Good thing he wore the blue tie at the bank and not the red one. And she sees herself waking up from sleep, the oxygen pipe still under her nose, her husband there, tie in hand, asking if she'd like to hold their baby. But she could have sworn she heard the baby stop crying. And she panics, and then she wakes up. Her head is bobbing, and now she's back at the hospital, looking at the tubes running out of her fiancé's arm. And one more for you, and it's something about writing, and this is called The Page, and I dedicated it to inspiration. And you would still appear in the paper I held in my hand, rippling waves of the pages before me, a dorsal fin of a shark circling my head, watching its prey. I could touch the page and still feel the rose I threw over the mahogany box in the November cold, the grass still covered with ice, crackling every time I took a step toward you. I could feel the pain in the paper, and I could still feel the cold marble freezing my fingers. And the etched message on the stone could still hold me the way you did. All I could do was look at your writing and feel the blood rush, feel your breath on my neck like a fist coming out of that page and hitting me in the face. I could feel it. I could feel 1,000 wars fought and won on your page, in your world. I could feel your hot breath pushing up against my neck. I could feel your hand taking my shoulders, throwing me back in my chair. I could look at your page and see out the window the masses rising, rioting in the streets. I could feel the tide rising from your thoughts. What power do you possess? What have you been through that gives you such a gift? I look back at the page and I begin to feel your hand from under the page, from under the desk, razor in hand, shoving up through the fibers, slicing the air, trying desperately to get to me. And I get up from my chair, walk over to the bathroom, almost like memorization. I feel nothing but the drive you felt. In the mirror, there are cuts on my face.